well, there's always next year. Famous last words from every gardener out there, right? So we always have some wins, we have some losses every year. And this is the perfect time of year to take stock of how the garden is going and how we can improve, how we can do better for next year. So welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Rochelle. I garden here in Brampton, Ontario, which is a suburb of Toronto. I'm in a zone 5B, 6A, depending on the winter. We can get pretty cold here. We can get quite a bit of snow, but we've been having some really lovely falls. And so this is one of my favorite time of year in the garden. Everything's kind of just bursting. It's at its max. Everything's kind of outgrowing everything else. But if something fails, if something starts to die or whatever, I don't have a problem pulling it out because you know what, the season's almost over. It was just really relaxing time in the garden. I don't bother weeding anymore. I don't bother fertilizing anymore. I'm just out here to enjoy it. I give it water when it needs it, and I'm harvesting, and it's a fantastic time out in the garden. That said, it's also a really great time to take stock of what went wrong and what went really, really right. And we had some really good things this year in the garden. My planters are amazing, and I'm gonna do a whole separate video on my planters and how much I spent on my planters. Okay, so this whole thing is about how we can make our gardens better for next year, but also while saving a ton of money in the process. So this is gonna be a series. I'm gonna have a few different parts in it, and we are gonna talk about things like saving tubers, overwintering plants, saving seeds, starting a lot of stuff from seed, and the benefits, the cost benefits of doing it like that, and also propagation. There's like so many different ways that you can save some money. I'll dive deeper into different examples of that in future videos, but in this video I want to talk about what you can do now. So I have some homework. I have some homework for all of you. So make a comment below if you're going to do this, and then if you do do it, drop a comment down below and just let me know like what, you know, one thing that you think you can do better next year. And what I want you to do is I want you to go outside. I want you to take your phone or your camera or whatever you use to film, and I want you to take pictures. And now this is specifically for people that don't have social media gardening related posts or channels, and you're not used to videoing your yard. It might feel kind of weird at first, but do it. Get your phone out, take some pictures, or better yet, take a video. Just turn the little video button on your phone, walk through the garden, and talk to yourself. Tell yourself, give yourself a little garden tour and talk about each plant, each section, what went right and what went wrong. You might have some petunias on one side of the garden that did fantastic, and the same exact variety from the same container, terrible on the other side. What was the difference? Did one side get more water? Was one side protected from the wind? Did one side get more rain, more sunshine? Sunlight is huge in the garden, and sometimes we don't always know how much it can shift throughout the season, right? So high summer is going to be very different than the times right now. Like in summer, I would be in full sun right now, but the sun is sitting lower in the sky, and so my garden is in shade a lot longer than it had been. And that also happens in the spring, and so that's why it kind of takes, you know, a little bit longer to get started than if everything was in full sun, because I have some big trees that provide the shade. So in middle of summer, like I couldn't sit out here past 8 in the morning in my spot right here without being like blinded by the sun. But now it's, what time is it? It's 9:15 and I'm still in the shade. And honestly, most of the garden is still going to be in the shade until around 11 or 12 now. Like that's just the way the sun is, just a little bit lower in the sky, and it just gets caught by the tops of the trees at the back of the property. So take note of that, but that is something you should have kind of been paying attention to over the course of the summer. Now, if you're new to a house, if you just bought a house this summer, or you're buying one new this fall, this is something you're really going to want to take time to look at and to kind of zone out your gardens. What's full sun, what's part shade. Full sun is considered anything between like 4 to 6 hours, or 6 to 8 hours. Part sun's 4 to 6. But a lot of it depends on your zone as well and your climate. So I can grow hostas in full sun here in Canada and they're fine. But if you try to do that down in the south or other areas where it's super hot and the sun is a lot more intense, then they're gonna fry. So you want to take note, walk through the garden with that camera, and just talk about it, right? Because when you're starting to garden plan, you're gonna be planning your garden out January, February, March. And if you're like me, you're going to be snowed in. It's going to be miserable inside. And sometimes it's really, really hard to remember and to visualize what the garden actually looked like in its prime, right? Like what, you see this big blob of snow and it's just really, really hard to visualize it and to picture it and to think, wait a minute, how many petunias do I really need? Do I really need 200 petunias? The answer is yes. But yeah, and so that's when it's really, really helpful to pull out those videos, to pull out those pictures, and to kind of go through it and take notes and look and see, oh yeah, you know what, those petunias didn't do very good over there. So you know what, instead of doing petunias on that side, let's do some impatiens and some begonias and some coleus, because there's a ton of absolutely beautiful shade plants and there's amazing sun plants, and they really need to be in the right conditions in order for them to really thrive. And so if you failed at growing one or the other, maybe you just didn't have the right spot for it, right? So that's a really good time to go through and just log it. Just log it, especially before you start buying a bunch of seeds, if you're going to be starting from seed, or before you go and start buying, flats and everything like that. Just realize, wait a minute, what would look better there, right? And also think about color schemes in the garden. I absolutely love dark petunias, right? Like those dark purple petunias, they're absolutely stunning. But if you plant them out in the landscape, especially if you have like a lot of mulch or, there's a lot of dirt showing, they disappear. Like if you try to put really dark, beautiful, dark purple petunias out in the landscape, you're not going to see them. Put them in planters, put them in containers, like a bright container, put them in with some bright other colors, put them up on the patio, put them up on the porch, because dark recedes, right? And so you want to make sure that you see those beautiful colors. Put them where you're going to actually see them. Out in the garden, brighter colors do well. If you like to, and also think about what time of day do you spend in your garden? Do you go out first thing in the morning with your cup of coffee? Are you just kind of out there throughout the day? Or do you really like to spend time in the evening out having, a cocktail or having dinner outside and really enjoying relaxing after work? That can change a bit of the color scheme that you want, right? In the morning, you might want those brighter, bold colors, but at night, Whites are fantastic in the garden. They just glow and they just look so beautiful, and it just lights up the whole space. So something like a moon garden would be absolutely fantastic if it's like an area that you like to hang out in the evenings. You have a few sparkly, twinkly lights going on and some white petunias and impatiens and some light colored silvery foliage, and it's just going to really pop and just glow at night. It's going to just be a little magical place for you. Now, if you like to go out in the mornings with your coffee, then you might want more of a punch of color, some reds and some pinks and some purples, and really, bright and get up in that morning and cheery, and all of that. So take into consideration the space, the time you're going to be enjoying it and using it, and your favorite colors. Like if you don't like a certain color, don't plant it, right? Like I stay away from red geraniums for some reason. I'm not a huge fan of red geraniums. To me, they have a thing, right? It's a thing. And I won't go into it. I don't want to offend anybody, but I love pink geraniums. So I'm probably not going to buy or plant red geraniums because they're not my thing, but I absolutely love pink geraniums. So it's okay to not like certain colors. It's okay to not like certain plants. I don't like marigolds. I don't like them. I don't like how they look. I don't like how they smell. I don't like the color. I'm not into the really fall vibes too often. The only colors I am okay with doing that are, say, like the coleus and maybe the peppers. I am definitely more of a bright spring, summer flower kind of person, but you do you. You find the colors and the combinations that you like. One of my absolute favorite colors combinations is like that chartreuse green from a lime, from your sweet potato vines, and then a hot pink. Like they just, I love those colors together. So that is it for part one of the series on, well, there's always next year. So in the following videos, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to be talking about ways to save money for next year, because I know I spent all this money on annuals and they look fantastic and I love them so much, but they're all gonna die. And I'm gonna have to spend that money again year after year after year, and it does add up. And sometimes, the cost, it can be very expensive, and I know the cost of plants has gone up quite a bit in the last few years. So we're gonna talk about ways that you can still get that big bang, and you can get as many plants and as flowers as your heart desires, but you can do it at a very cost savings, in a very cost savings way. So we're gonna be talking about things like overwintering plants, saving bulbs, saving seeds, seed swaps, there's just all kinds of ways that you can actually go about doing it. And one of my favorite videos I'm going to be doing is my planters. So my planters have done fantastic out back. I have some huge planters. They are chock full of plants. But most of them I started from seed. So I'm going to do a cost breakdown on how much I spent on the planters from like my plants. I did buy a handful that I tucked in here and there. But then we're going to talk about how much it would have cost if I'd had to buy the plants, and I will show you the breakdown on the cost savings of starting your own plants from seed. Now I know starting from seed is not free because you do have to buy your seed starting stuff. Soil is not cheap. You know, containers, grow lights, all of that. It does add up, but it is something that you will have year after year after year. And it's one of the reasons why I especially love soil blocking because it takes minimum soil. You can use smaller trays, and I can cram hundreds and hundreds of seedlings onto a metal shelving unit. Like, it's absolutely mind-blowing how many seedlings I am able to grow in my townhouse. It floors me every year. Like, I just can't get over it. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about when I'm talking about soil blocks, I will drop a link down here. And also at the end of the video, I'll put one up here to show you what the soil blocks are. But there are there are a few different sizes depending on which ones you buy. But they're cost savings. You just have to buy, I just use regular potting soil, but I use like a fraction of the potting soil I would that if I was using the traditional containers for starting seeds. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have taken away something from it. And please let me know in the comments below if you went out and did your own little video so that you can review that in the spring. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in part 2 and part 3 coming up soon. Bye.